What is going on, Basehead family? It is Park here, bringing y'all a little different video today. Today's video, myself and the one and only little Basehead kitty out there, Mr. Ox. We're going to be doing some reactions to some of the worst car audio installs that there are out there. Let's get into it. First off, we have a classic from Steve Mead Designs. This video has over 2 million views, and it is titled, Worst Sound System Install by a Shop Ever. $5 grand down the toilet. Removal video 1. Let's see what we got here, guys.
Alright, the Honda's on hold for a week or two. We got to get this thing back in shape. The install wasn't looking very good at all. I'm not going to call out the shop that did it. Don't even want to know who did it. All I got to say is it ain't right. Alright, so the amp rack was ugly, and we pulled it up. After we saw what was underneath it, the owner got upset and ripped it all to shreds before I had a chance to videotape it.
That's not any good.
But I'll go ahead and show you the rat's nest here in a minute. It's got a Fosgate 6.5 held in with a sheetrock screw.
There's like one screw holding that in, just a sheetrock screw. What the heck, guys? You can't be doing stuff like this.
It's got a 1/4 inch window and a bandpass box for 215s. This is actually 1/4 inch. So this was underneath.
Oh my goodness.
3 Fosgate amps with all this shit underneath it. That's why the owner got mad and did that.
Did you see that just mess of wires?
Custom cooling.
Nice.
It's pretty tight.
That's doing absolutely nothing right there. Look at that mess of wires.
You got fuse blocks, distribution blocks, going into distribution blocks.
This is awful, guys. Awful.
Lamp cord, this old brown one.
Ah, good old lamp cord.
2 of them, so they're matching.
There you go.
Some 12 gauge butt connectors.
We've got some good old just butt connectors holding stuff together.
It looks like they use pliers to squeeze those. I don't know, but anyways.
Y'all, I always try to solder and heat shrink all of my connections. Definitely what you really want to do if you want something to last and not wiggle loose over time.
It's just not a good situation. Okay, what do we have here? This is another speaker wire.
We've got duct tape on the back. And, what do you know?
Taking these bind irons out of the kick panels. I was looking at how they were fastened in place. There's a screw kind of going through.
What? That is terrible. Next up, we have got the worst car audio install ever.
I'm going to put 2010 box design. He said he's running and doing a 158.
Okay, first off, look at all this wasted space in the back of this car. Tons of wasted space. Look at that. We got like 2x4s just kind of randomly ran on the side for some support. We got the big pipes coming out of the top for the port. What? Okay, so we got one square kicker in the center here of 2 big, huge ports up top. Ugh. Y'all, what the heck? Next up, we've got Epic Radio amp and sub install fail. Super blurry, can't see any of this.
Sound in later, but he paid $1,500 bucks. $59 for this radio installation. Now, y'all gonna love this.
First of all, $1,500 bucks may not be a ton of money for a really nice system, but you should get a nice, clean, really pretty decent system for that.
This wire right here was from his old amp that was left in the truck. Now, Booz used that wire.
We got little teeny, looks like just 8, maybe even 10 gauge wire.
Yes, folks, that is an inline fuse. See? Inline fuse. Real good. Booz decided to go ahead and add an extra line from the battery cable up to this. Now, y'all, check this out. Inside of this black tape covered deal here is a blade fuse with 2 connectors on it. So it goes from here up to the blade fuse,
Why?
back down to an inline blade fuse, and then wraps a piece of black tape. That's a $1,500
Quality,
stereo
guys.
install.
Quality.
Now, the other wire fuses here, but you'll notice that the person didn't give us enough room to mount it on the back wall, and didn't give us enough room to mount it on the side fender well. So he did that. So now he's got, yes, that's right, draped across the motor.
This is awful.
Stereo wire.
Y'all, when you're mounting your fuse, definitely mount it somewhere secure. There's different ways you can do it, but don't ever just leave a fuse like that hanging. It's going to wobble. Eventually the wire is going to pop out of there, and then it could short on something. You could damage your battery. You could damage your car's whole electrical system. You could damage your amp. There's just a ton of things that you could do.
Okay, he's got an iPod. Now, the guy sells him this stereo, even though he has an iPod. Oh, it was a Kenwood. He had a Kenwood with the same setup.
So basically, this guy sold him on a stereo that was actually no better than what he had in there, it seems like. Charged him for the install, charged him for the parts, and he didn't gain anything from that.
This box, the guy says he made for somebody else, but he sold it to my buddy for $359.
Got two Orion in
it's
there.
A custom box. You'll notice how well it fits in the back of his 4Runner. Custom. Then,
okay,
my buddy says, well, why don't you install my amp in this nice little hole in here? So the guy says, okay. He installs it. You'll see the wires come in there. He mounts it in there. Looks all nice. Got a little cover to go to the top of it. Close it up. Problem is,
this thing is going to get hot in there, guys. You definitely want to have your amp somewhere where air can circulate around it, even if it's a little smaller amp.
the amp is so hot with cover on there that you can fry eggs with it. There's no airflow. Basically, my buddy for $1,500 got these two 10-inch speakers, that used box, a bad install of an amp. There's another amp under the rear seat.
Oh, let's see this.
Here. Now there's a custom install.
Oh my goodness, that's
Nice.
what you want.
His passengers can put their feet on top of it. That's great. So there it is. Epic stereo install fail. Y'all don't do this.
Y'all, if you're going to install something, take the time, do it right, especially if you're charging somebody else. You know, it's your business, you're doing it for them. Why would you want your name on just something so terrible like that? Blows my mind. Next up, we got some pictures and some car audio memes. Let's check these out. Oh, so this is a classic one. I'm sure most of y'all have seen these on the internet somewhere, but these are just some of the worst installs ever. Of course, right here, we've got the power wire ran through the side, most of it hanging out, even the fuse is hanging out. This is just absolutely terrible. I never get why people just run the power wire through the panel right there up front. There's always a place to go through the firewall, guys. No idea why people always seem to do this. I know y'all have seen this one. This is just hilarious. Why would you do this? If you're going to go to the trouble to put this in your back seats, why not pull out the back seats and make some sort of panel? This is pretty funny, honestly, guys. Okay, over here we've got these subs in a cardboard box. This is hilarious. Y'all, if you think I should build a cardboard box for one of my subs just to see what it does, let me know in the description below, guys. I think that could be pretty funny. Here's another just absolutely terrible install. Y'all, you can go buy dash kits that make this super, super easy, but if you do want to cut it out, at least just like take some time and cut it out perfect. Why would you do this? Okay, this one, it looks like there's some sort of sponge they just have around this stereo to hold it in there. That, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty funny. Now here you can see they built a little wooden compartment for their stereo. I actually know a bunch of older cars where people will build something like this just because there's not really a good place for a stereo. Y'all, if it's done right, it can look really, really nice. Obviously, this just wasn't done very well. Here's another hilarious one. Can you imagine what they were thinking when they put these in here in the headrest? Why would you do this? Can you imagine driving around just bonking your head on that? We have a subwoofer built into a 5-gallon bucket. That is pretty funny. Here's a good one, y'all. Using power switch outlets that you would find in your house for on-off switches in your car. Hey, if it works, I suppose. Okay, let's check out some of these memes. These are always funny. Tag someone who installs car audio like this. Y'all, I have seen a ton of systems in my day, and I definitely have seen some just absolute goms like this. Here we go. Don't worry, I've installed subs before. Good job, buddy. Again, people running right here. Seems like an easy place to run through, I guess, but I just blows my mind why you would think that's a good idea. Tax return? You mean car audio gear? That's what I'm talking about, guys. Of course, here's a classic. Got 212s installed in the trunk. Here you go. This one says, what's the worst that could happen? I gotta tell y'all, I got a really good buddy, and he used to install stuff in his truck that he had. And y'all, he would have wires just everywhere. Like they were wrapped around his seatbelt, wrapped around just everything possible. Just a huge, huge mess. Fortunately, he now just brings me his car, and I try to help him install stuff now, just because it is so much safer. That was sketchy, super huge fire hazard in my opinion. Here's a pretty classic one. Y'all, I have seen some terrible, terrible grounds in my day, and this is just a great example of that. I've never seen one quite as bad as this bottom one, but I know they're out there, guys. Well, Ox says, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you want to see next, guys. I thought that was kind of fun. Fun to do something a little bit different. I know... Oh, where do you... Well, bye. He gets bored. Anyway, I know this was kind of different and kind of random. Sub reviews will be back next week, guys. I have several things coming in here soon that should be pretty exciting, so please stay tuned for that. Y'all, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll put my Instagram over here somewhere. If you have any terrible, terrible sub installs that you want to share with me that maybe I'll put in a later video, send them to that. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, keep basing on.